Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Once again, my name is Brandon. I'm an acting and performance coach, and today is the day. I'm super excited because today is the day we're going to be jumping into season 1, episode 7 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Today is the day that we're going to be jumping into season 1, episode 7 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel. This is the sort of pivotal episode of season 1. There are many reasons why I feel that. I am not simply an Angel stan. I promise you, it makes perfect sense. Once we get to the end of the season, I have a tier list video that I'm going to drop here on YouTube, and that will give you a deeper explanation as to why I feel so strongly about this episode. It is a pivotal episode in the entire series of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It sets up and sort of springboards so many concepts for the show moving forward. It really just is a very pivotal, important episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Check the description for all my social media links, which I'm never, ever on. Also, a link to the Patreon and the Discord on the Patreon where you can get the full, extended, unedited versions of these videos. I am working on getting them back up right now. We are having some trouble, some technical difficulties, but you'll be able to get most of these up to this point, and then we are working on season 2 right now over there. So please consider coming on over there and joining us if that is your thing. If it is not, that's absolutely fine. I'll tell you what, being here, watching the video, giving it a view, hitting the like button, subscribing is really important. Just being here, showing your support, it really means a lot. It helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. That's enough, I think. Let's just get ready to jump into the video.
Zachary didn't return from the hunt last night. Colin, what would you do about it?
Let me kill her for you.
I really like this little introduction of the three here. You got these three tough guys, and then they walk up and the guys just bail. I love that. Even the tough guys are afraid. They must be serious. That's disgusting. That's so gross. Who would touch the cockroach? I love this. For us to have a conversation about a guy, there'd have to be a guy for us to have a conversation about. Is that a sentence? I'm sorry, I'll stop. I'll try to stop doing that.
Ouch! Please get your extreme.
I like how the dude she was dancing with just bailed. He just turned around and walked off. What is that?
You know, hey, I don't know what anyone's talking about. That outfit doesn't make him look like a hooker.
Okay, I kind of like it. At the same time, that joke did not age well. I like where it was going, where it was trying to do, put it that way. But it was not the best execution for 2022. And who's there? Creepy, creepy, creepy. Okay, I have something to say. This is a tangent. It's a tangent. People are going to hate it, but it's a thing that's in my brain because recently, another reactor that I watch, who watches Buffy the Vampire Slayer, has just gotten to the part of season 5 where the whole Spike, and spoiler warnings again, but the whole Spike Buffy thing kind of starts happening from Spike's perspective anyway. I pointed out that that people who are just gung-ho for the Spike Buffy relationship are the same people who really were into the Edward Bella thing or the Christian Grey Anna thing. The people who claim that, you know, Christian Grey was really just a deep, damaged, romantic soul who needed Anna's help. It was so sweet and romantic that Edward was watching Bella fall asleep and all this stuff. And I said that it's the same kind of energy. It's really just a very toxic situation. It's being portrayed as romantic. And I know that so many of you out there are Buffy shippers. I know you are. And you know what? That's absolutely fine. Be a Buffy shipper all you want. Just be honest about it, okay? If it's a guilty pleasure, a guilty indulgence to sort of ship this thing, then just admit that it is what it is. That's all I'm asking, because here's the deal. It is probably the most toxic relationship I think I've ever seen on TV. We'll talk about all that when we get there. See, we all think it's Angel stalking her.
Show yourself.
Where did he come from? There's nothing above them. Was he on the light pole? Dogs don't bite. Great entrance. This is why Angel is stalking her. If he hadn't been stalking her, she would have died. Here they come. Seamless. Okay, now here's a little break in the lore. That vampire should not be able to stick its hand through the door. So many people had that tattoo in the late 90s.
Nice tattoo. So you weren't following me?
Watch this scene. You want to see good scene work? Watch this scene.
I'm not saying I'm not happy about it tonight, but if you are hanging around, I'd like to know why.
Amazing.
Yeah, I like you.
One of the things that impressed me the most about this show early on was the chemistry that developed between Sarah Michelle Gellar and David Boreanaz. And this is not so much a thing that can be credited to the writers or the director or even the showrunner, except in the casting. Now, I'm sure they tested together. They had to have. And I'm sure they saw this chemistry because there's no way it's just new. From the very first time they were on camera together, they had this. There's a thing called the invisible thread, okay? It's a sort of really a basic concept in acting, and it's something that I learned studying the Meisner method. You can see the moment that the thread connects. They're already connected, but it's right at this moment when their eyes first meet. Right? Oh, there.
I was lucky.
Did you see how when Sarah looked at him, like she's avoiding eye contact, she's a little nervous, right? When she glanced up at him immediately, almost as if he was compelled or like magnetically drawn to as a reaction. Just watch it. It's like he's drawn to look back.
So you weren't following me?
See how, again, it happened
I
again.
had this feeling you were.
She looks up and boom, his face just turns to her.
You're the
She
mystery
looks down
guy
and
that
watch his
appears out of
nose.
nowhere.
Look at him.
I'm not
Look at
saying
him,
I'm
just
not happy
following
about
her.
it tonight, but
See, do you see
You're
it?
hanging around and like to know.
That's amazing. It's natural. It's not forced. It's 100% connection. That's what makes this a good scene. That's what makes him a good actor. And she's the same.
Well, then why don't you go upstairs and get into bed and I can bring you some hot tea?
That's sweet.
And he just comes out. That's fine.
Hi.
That smile.
Angel, this is my mom.
What do you do, Angel?
He's a student.
She's responding much more calmly than I would if I found my 16-year-old daughter alone at home at night with a significantly older man.
It was nice to meet you.
Another thing I want to point out here, sort of a little tidbit about the show. A lot of people will tell you, and it's true, that Angel is supposed to be or considered 26. He was 26 when he was turned. That's the general knowledge now. I will say that at this point in the show, you have to understand when the show started, they didn't know what they were going to do with Angel at all. And in fact, up until around, I don't know what order they shot them in, but they shot a few episodes, 3 or 4 episodes already, before they decided that he was going to be a vampire. Up until that point, they were playing with the idea of making him an actual angel. And at this point in the series, he was meant to have been 18 when he was turned. And that's how Joyce is supposed to buy the idea that he is a first-year community college student. That's what they thought at this time.
Look, I don't want to get you in any more trouble.
And I don't want to get you dead. 2 of us, 1 bed.
She really does switch from serious, mature Slayer to teenage girl really seamlessly.
Well, what does your family think of your career choice?
They're dead. It was a long while ago.
So this is a vengeance gig for you.
You even look pretty when you go to sleep.
Do you snore?
I don't know.
I hope not. Be awful hard to hide him from her mom if he snores.
Buffy, come on, wake up and smell the seduction. It's the oldest trick in the book.
What? Saving my life? Getting slashed in the ribs?
You left the bronze and were set upon by 3 unusually virile vampires. We must step up our training with weapons.
Yeah, Buffy, you should stay at my house and tell these samurai guys our history.
Angel and Buffy are not in any immediate jeopardy. Eventually the Master will send someone else, but in the meantime, the 3, having failed, will offer their own lives in penance.
It seems like an incredibly counterintuitive way to handle things. You've got these 3 warriors that are super powerful and strong and are like they're so efficient and they're great at carrying out their tasks, and they fail 1 time, so you kill them. How do you ever get warriors like that? I've never understood that mentality. You cannot get great at something without failing, so I don't get it.
I am weary, and their deaths will bring me little joy.
I'm serious. I know I've said it a million times, but he just sings his dialogue.
You must first become proficient with the basic tools of combat.
With the quarterstaff. I like that his quarterstaffs are actually just their roots. They're just pieces of wood. Look at it. They have little knots on them and everything.
Not gonna need pads to fight you.
Oh, we'll see about that.
I know I'm stopping a lot during this episode, and I know it's going to be annoying, but this is a big one, and I want to give it its due attention. This council is supposed to be international, powerful, incredibly wealthy, and they can't give her someone to train with who can actually train her, who can keep up with her, at least come close. They can't send a team, a couple of different people with actual high-end, like very high-level martial arts experience and training and help develop her skills. They have this one person, this one middle-aged man who sure has some fighting skills but spends the bulk of his time reading, and they expect him to keep her in shape and keep her trained. And here's the deal. My personal opinion, the Watchers Council does not actually want the Slayer to survive. They would prefer, in my opinion, that a Slayer die before she reaches the age of 18. We see what happens when you allow a Slayer with power to grow and become an adult. You end up with someone who's going to rebel and someone you can't control.
I read a little and just thought about a lot of things.
You don't even know what I was writing about. Do with you.
Well, your mother moved your diary when she came in to straighten up. I watched her from the closet. I did a lot of thinking today. I really can't be around you.
Over the bridge,
All I can ever
under
think
the
about
bridge,
is how
over the dam.
badly I want to
think
kiss you.
Kiss me?
Okay, I had to stop for just a minute because one of the things I will say is I don't think this was a character thing. I think this was an acting thing. So David wasn't the most experienced actor here. He was just an incredibly charismatic individual. What I'll say here is that there should have been more. There should have been more conflict. His words and his body language did not match up here. The intention, you see a lot of this in acting and stage acting, particularly whenever somebody needs to exit, but they know they're going to get interrupted and called back, right? So they're waiting for their scene partner to call their name. They have to call their name before they get off stage. So in order to do that in their head, whether they mean to or not, they kind of don't really commit to leaving. They walk like they're going to leave, but if you pay attention, you can tell they're not really trying to leave. They're just taking a few steps and they're kind of slowing down their momentum. They're and then they wait for them to get called, right? They turn like they're going to go, but then they just don't. The reason I talk about acting all the time as though it's not pretending and I talk about how acting is actually taking action. If you pretend to leave, it's incredibly obvious. It looks so unnatural. So this feels like an acting error and not so much a writing mistake. He just didn't commit. She's doing her job for sure. And that, again, that moment there right before the kiss, it just wasn't there. Everybody went crazy at this kiss, I'm telling you.
What? What's wrong?
Remember that scream? Because they reuse it later. It's very frustrating for me.
Can a vampire ever be a good person, or couldn't it happen?
Please pay attention.
Vampire isn't a person at all.
Vampire isn't a person at all.
The movements, the memories, even the personality.
Even the personality of the person that took over, but it's still a demon at the core. There's no halfway.
So that'd be a no, huh?
Key phrase, a vampire isn't a person at all.
You're in love with a vampire? What, are you out of your mind?
What? Do you know how much this dress cost? Is this a knockoff? This is a knockoff, isn't it? Some cheesy knockoff.
It's that moments like that with Cordelia that make me wonder if her father wasn't lying to her for a long time about their wealth, pawning off cheap things as expensive things, and maybe she was in denial about it.
Hi. It's been a while, and last time I saw you, it wasn't high school girls. But guess what, precious? You're not one of them. Is that what you tell yourself these days?
She's good too, by the way.
I hope I'm around when it explodes.
Maybe you don't want to be.
I'm not afraid of you.
It's a little dramatic.
Here's something at last.
Can you please warn us before you do that?
There's mentioned some 200 years ago in Ireland of Angelus, the one with the angelic face, a tattoo behind his right shoulder.
Yeah, it's a bird or something.
100 years or so before he came to our shores. What was he like then?
A vicious, violent animal.
Reconstruction began when?
Reconstruction began after the construction, which was shoddy, so they had to reconstruct. I like the answer.
Sometimes I have this fantasy that Xander's just gonna grab me and kiss me right on the lips.
You want Xander? You've got to speak up, girl.
No.
Like Xander said, I'm the Slayer and he's a vampire. God, I can't.
This is why I will always maintain that Joyce should have been told. It makes zero sense that she wasn't told. In situations like this, if she had known the truth, she could simply say, oh, that's nice, and move out of the way.
Well, I know she's supposed to be home soon. Would you like to come in and wait? Do you feel like something little or something big?
Something
big.
Here it comes. Listen for the scream. The exact same scream that we heard when Buffy saw Angel's face. That was a little early. I will say, because I've got to say it, it's just annoying. It bugs me to no end. Why couldn't you use a different scream? Any other scream, any scream that we hadn't heard just 15 minutes ago. It's so lazy. I would have fired somebody. Now we're seeing a little bit of a struggle. This is different.
Home.
Of course she is. And that's the face you greet her with.
You come near us and I'll kill you.
There's a sort of acceptance on his face there, which I think was a brilliant choice from an acting perspective.
Your friend came over.
Of course she would phrase it that way.
Snack. Guess I slipped and cut my neck on. The doctor said it looked like a barbecue fork.
That's a little ridiculous too. The teeth for the vampires in this era were never like that. There was always a bite mark. It looked like a bite mark.
I invited him into my home. Even after I knew who he was, what he was, and I didn't do anything about it. But I think it's a start.
I think this is going to take more than a simple steak.
So do I.
Did you think she would understand? That's all you have to do. Accept it.
She makes quite an impression herself.
I know she's having trouble with history. She's studying with Willow. She's studying with Darla. I mean, she is trying.
Darla? I don't believe I know.
Her friend, the one who came over tonight.
What would Giles and Joyce's ship name be? Would it just be Joyce? But with a G? I've also had some people tell me, oh, look, do you remember Angel attacked her in the episode Angel? He attacked? No, he didn't. This is Suicide by Cop by Slayer.
Why didn't you just attack me when you had the chance? What changed?
Fed on a girl about your age. They restored my soul.
What, they were all out of boils and blinding torment?
When you become a vampire, the demon takes your body,
but it doesn't get your soul.
I wanted to kill you tonight.
This switch happened incredibly fast. She went for, she just bought it, and that's fine. Believe it. That's fine. That makes sense. Just suddenly, dropping the weapon and exposing your neck to him, that's a large leap, I think.
Do you know what the saddest thing in the world is?
Bad hair on top of that outfit?
Love that line.
There was a time when we shared everything, wasn't there, Angelus? You love someone who hates us. You're sick.
And you'll always be sick. I love that rasping or that gurgly sound in the back of her voice.
You can hurt them like hell, but...
The trio, maybe?
Buffy, it was an angel who attacked your mom.
Have you ever tried to move a pool table? They're incredibly heavy.
Take it like a man.
Those comments, really. Love it so much. And this moment will haunt him for the next couple of years. Okay, that's a moment where I wonder where the story was for the actor, what changes they made, because the look on Sarah's face really didn't fit what had happened. She had already decided to forgive him. She had already believed his story and accepted the fact that he wasn't the one who attacked her mother. Now he's still a vampire. I guess that's still a little stressful, but that look that she had on her face was very stressed, very, very confused and conflicted. And I don't think she was quite in that confused or conflicted of a space, at least not in regards to Angel. At that moment, I don't know, I just always found that face just a little too upset. This would be a great scene if it wasn't for this child.
But to lose her to Angel.
He was just at my right hand come the day.
But soon you shall rise. And when you do, you kill them all.
Yeah, I'm not buying it from this kid. I really wish they had made a better decision. They are really laying it on with his music, aren't they?
Look, this can't
ever be anything. I know. For one thing, you're like 224 years older than I am.
Still, again, look at that connection between the two of them. 100% natural. If I were making a top 10 best goodbye kisses of the 1990s, this would definitely be on the list. Notice how black the background is? They are the only two people in the world. So that final scene Here's the deal. Sarah and David, not the characters, but Sarah and David have an amazing connection. They have really great, very special chemistry, and it really shows in every scene that they're in together. Sarah did struggle with a couple of scenes, and she does struggle with a couple of scenes, especially in the first and second season. I think I pointed one of them out. I would probably point more out in the future. She is a great actress, but she was also really young, and there are some moments, especially in a TV series and a serial project, when you're just not there. You don't have it. This is your 87th take, and people are giving you notes that you don't really agree with, and maybe you're dealing with a different writer or a different cinematographer or a different director, and it's just not vibing, and it just doesn't come across the way you hoped that it would, or the way it maybe could have. Maybe you just can't identify with the line, and that's kind of the sense I got with a couple of lines. But in that final scene with she and David, just the connection that they had as they were looking into each other's eyes. There was nobody else in that room. The entire rest of the room turned into ambiance. There was no other living beings, nobody else watching, nobody judging, nobody thinking or talking or living their lives. The only thing that existed in that moment was Buffy and Angel. And that's exactly how those moments should be perceived. That's how they should be presented. What I can say unequivocally about this episode is that one of the reasons that I feel so strongly about it, and I feel that it's so impactful on the rest of the season, is the revelations that happen here. They inform what happens in episode 12, in the finale. They inform what happens throughout the first half of next season. They inform what happens in Innocence and Surprise. They inform what happens in Becoming. None of that makes any sense without this episode. But all that being said, at the very least, it was a fun episode. We got to find out that Angel was a vampire. That's a huge reveal for a lot of people. I'm thinking about maybe doing starting to do like compilation videos and going through finding the huge moments and then compiling clips of other reactors reacting to those moments and sort of commenting on what their reactions were, what their thoughts were. And this would be one of those moments. Of course, Buffy finding out that Angel is a vampire would be one of those moments. If you know any good compilations of reactors reacting to key moments of the show, definitely send it my way. I would love to see that. But having said all that, thank you so much for being here. Please remember to always be kind to each other. And most importantly, be kind to yourself.